Let me be the one who can take you from all the.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, and welcome to the Love, Relationship, and Marriage Show, where we love what we do and we do what we love. We're continuing our interview, our discussion, conversation with the Furqans. This week is part 3 of Conversation with the Furqans. Take a look.
And what hurts him hurts me. So we guard our tongue.
Yes.
Mashallah. And I think that's a key, and that's something important in a marriage, because you're saying, if this is my husband, my spouse, I care for that person. If they're hurting or sad,
Right.
it's going to affect me.
Yes,
it's going
it
to
is.
impact me.
Absolutely.
And so I don't want to see my spouse or my wife, my husband or whatever sad.
Right.
What can I do
Right.
to make it better?
Right, right.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So now let me ask you, this is the dilemma we're facing now. The young people, again, are, pursuing degrees, advanced degrees, and that's good. But we know our religion encourages marriage at an early age.
Yes, certainly.
But a lot of the young people are saying, I want to accomplish these, I want to get these physical, material things first before I get married. But I think as a consequence of that, we're seeing more out of wedlock births in our
Right.
community.
Exactly. Yes.
What do we do about that? How do we address that?
See, that's where parents should be supportive of young couples when they get married. And you take them in and you help them, you support them. They need you now as much as they need you when they was a baby. They're not babies, but they're taking on greater challenges in the world and they need a support system. I note that our economic life is suffered because of our social structure. Sometimes you get the young kids, they get age and they get a job, and they go out and they pay $600 a month to rent an apartment that they're not in at all because they're working 40 hours and they're going to school. When they could have been paying down the mortgage on their parents' house, they don't need their privacy unless they're doing something wrong. And then the parents' house can be used to help them get a house when they get married. So they're not married, or they start thinking in terms of material. This is a society that throws material. And I think the big thing with the rap industry, and I'm not blaming that, but the thing is that everybody's throwing out spinning wheels and just a material thing. Those things can't really satisfy the human being. We know millionaires that are committing suicide. People that got big money that are killing themselves and don't want to live. They can have everything that they want, but the world, it is a resource for us to get things out of, but it's a place that we're created from and that we live on and that we return to, and our soul returns to Allah, certainly. But what material can you take with you when you pass away?
Absolutely right.
And so if we cultivate and we get, some people have collections, all toy collections. They collected a DVD collection, or they collected these albums, they collected all, I don't care what you collected. If you haven't collected any good deeds that benefit you on the day of judgment, you're in trouble. Them collections are going to be there. Some people might throw them in the trash or the dumpster, care nothing about what your little collection was. But the thing is like the material world can swallow up the human mind if the human mind doesn't think that these things are to serve the human being and the human being not to serve them. God placed these things here as utilities for us, to benefit us, to serve us. Even the horse, we rode it. We don't think too much about the horse now because he's a modern time. But at one time, when I was young, and even I'm old enough to remember that, horses went down the street. And it was a mess then because you didn't have gas. You didn't have fumes coming out the rear end of the car. This is the difference. Then you can use the word horsepower, for your cars and stuff. But those beasts, a burden, the animals and stuff. It says in the Quran that Prophet Muhammad came as a mercy to all the world. As a mercy to all the world. And in the Quran, it talked to a man about hamstringing a camel, putting too much weight on a camel, more than it can bear. See, the beast is the animal he has to trust the human being. He's not in control. You don't have the intellect, so you put all of that on him, and it's unfair because you want to get this stuff to the market. So sometimes we do the same thing to ourselves. We put too much on ourselves, and then we're enslaved or imprisoned by all this that we put up on us. If we don't leave, if you have a meal, and you have your food groups, you have dessert. And what's the same thing with our relationship? We have to always constantly make. Sometimes you get so busy you have to make a date with your husband or wife. Say, look, this is our day. We're gonna send the kids somewhere. I know they sometimes they want to come in on that day, but you know, teach them that, and then they will learn how to guard their marriage and have that sacred time to give to husband and wife. I tell young people, young women especially, have children and they're not married, and they have hopes to get married. Do not let your children have access to you 24/7. Don't let them be in your bedroom all the time. Take that time out for yourself so that when you get married, you can give that time to your husband and have to fight your kids or them trying to throw him out because you done took their mama from him. There's a lot of ways of looking at that. You got to cultivate, because you got a right to have that time. But if you give it to them and they own you, oh, you're in trouble.
It's going to be really difficult when you do find that husband.
Yeah, when you do find that husband. Yeah.
Right.
And this applies even if this is the father of the children. You know, like, you know, when a baby is born, you know, everybody's around the baby, and the father, he can be over the corner somewhere. You know, it's the baby, how cute he is. He might just a jumping jack to get attention. Well, throughout life, as you get married, sometimes, and it's not intentional, women will get very busy and doing all these things like that, and you have to remind each other. You know, or the man can get so busy, and the wife will start feeling neglected. So when you let something die, then you have to wake it back. I mean, you have to resurrect it. Don't let it die. That's one thing I say. Don't let it die.
Because it's easier to keep it alive.
Yeah.
There you go. I like that. It's easier to keep it alive than to try to revive it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you let that fire go out, it might be a rainy day, you won't get it started.
Or very difficult to get it. What they say, the kindling to get it started.
You know, and a person reacts to being neglected. Now they're reacting to that, and it's an anger. The issue now has changed.
Yes.
You see.
Yes, and I wanna ask them, and that is the best gift that the husband and wife, mom and dad, can give to their children is a good relationship.
Exactly.
So don't moms and women, I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes we are so into our children that we kind of forget that we're adults and we have a husband and a spouse and all this. And so the message to women is, be the best mom you can be, but also be the best wife you can be.
Exactly.
Because men are kind of, really, they're fragile, right?
Exactly.
Really, they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
The male and the female are created from knots and wired out, from one soul of like nature. That's how we know how to hurt each other, because we know what hurts us.
Absolutely.
So when if a man hurts a woman, he said something that he knew would hurt him. And she did the same thing. I'm just saying, that's the reality. And ironic you said that, because I remember my daughter, she must have been about 6 years old, and she was just noticing something, so she said, "Mom, go spend some time with Dad." Yes, because she knows that the parental unit is her security.
That's right.
That's where she came from.
Right.
And that's why when I would teach sometimes, I would say, "Sister, remember now, we didn't come from the children came from us." Don't forget me now.
And that's why it's important too to have that unit, husband and wife first, and then the kids, right?
Yeah, exactly.
In the world, we're kind of doing it a little backwards. You're thinking it's fake feminism. I don't need a man to have a baby. I can have the child and raise a kid. But I'm thinking to myself, Allah knows best.
Right.
Exactly.
If it were meant to be that way, He would have put in the Quran, it's okay to have the kids first and then get married. But He doesn't say that.
He says, go not near fornication and adultery. And seeing what we don't understand that as Muslims, when they talk about go not near fornication and adultery, you're talking about, when you talk about boyfriend and girlfriend relationships, that's going near fornication, because you are in an intimate situation with the guy and the girl by yourselves, and that could lead to a number of things.
Because your nature is such that you're gonna you like them, they like you. So that leads me to my next question then.